welcome to the 48th episode of the Odyssey Hour. I'm thinking that we are going to have to plan something very, very special for the 50th. So, but that is still, even though I know people would think that it's only 2 weeks away, it's actually going to be 3 weeks away because we will not be here next week. And the reason for that is we are finally going to go on our long-awaited trip down to Old South Pittsburgh Hospital in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. And very excited about that, but that is next week. And we are leaving on Wednesday. And I am not going to, hold on one second. Welcome, Miss Infante. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Great. I was just telling everybody that we're not going to be here next week.
That's right.
Because we are taking our trip down to Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. And so, because I was saying that this is episode 48, so we need to plan something really special for episode 50.
Oh, we do.
Which is going to be in 3 weeks, not 2 weeks. So don't worry, I'll get it covered. But I'm trying. Hold on a second. With 2 minutes before the show, I contacted Rochelle and told her to get in here. And now I'm trying to convince her to leave movie time with her family to come in. So, well,
that's going to take some convincing, I feel like.
We'll see. She has 7 days a week to spend with her family. She could spend an hour with us. That's all I'm saying. No need to be self-centered.
Yes, anyway, family time is self-centered.
I can't bail on the kids. Of course you can. That's what parents do. All right. Anyway, I have a feeling she's not going to be in here. So I tried to fill the void that Sam and Haley not being here tonight will give us. But that's okay, because I've got a bunch of stuff that we can talk about. You know, obviously, Scott's been watching paranormal videos for like the past 20 minutes. So chuckling at a few. I don't think I'd ever heard him laugh. So that was a first.
I missed it?
You did. So
dang.
This is like our like a child's first word. So we missed Scott's first laugh. So
it'll happen again. I know it will.
I'm sorry, Scott. Could not resist. So we have a bunch of stuff, but I would like to start off tonight. I was kind of searching around the internet, just finding like most asked questions, and I came across the top 10 paranormal myths.
Oh, I like this.
Was not all that excited to see that it was written by Mr. Aaron Sagers, but to each their own. So I read over most of them, and honestly, they're pretty good. Like they're pretty accurate. So I will give him that on what like what he has written. I'm just gonna do like what each one is and not like the reasoning behind it. However, if I do something that you guys want to respond to, you can go ahead and speak up, and we can take a moment to discuss it. So number 1, paranormal facts exist.
Are we allowed to respond?
Sure. Like I said, if any one of these numbers is something that you would like to, I mean, I could stop and just see that you guys want to discuss this one.
I mean, I feel like, sorry, I
was just gonna repeat it. That's all. Paranormal facts exist.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't talked about this directly, but we've mentioned it when we're going through, when we're like explaining things. like there's nothing that is a fact in this field quite yet. There are no technical experts as of yet. The closest person to an expert is going to be Mr. John Zaffis, because he knows like anything and everything. But
even he can be wrong.
Exactly. There are no experts. There are no facts, because nothing can be proven repeatedly again, because it's an unpredictable field. You can't, like, ghosts are not just at your beck and call to prove something. You know, you kind of have to work with them, and it's a whole thing. So
it's a whole
yeah,
thing.
It's a whole thing. Yeah, it's unpredictable. So there are no facts. No, not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. That is
leaving the door open.
That is, sooner or later, we're going to be able to actually find some sort of facts, something that is actually repeatable. You know, and right now, obviously, the term facts, you know, is what is proven by science. And since science will very rarely even take an interest in the paranormal, it's difficult, obviously, to figure out what is fact and what isn't. I would not doubt if there are certain theories that we know and that we believe in and that seem to work, that will in the near future become a fact. What, I have no idea, but I do think that there are some things. It's not so much a matter of if, but how can we find the right circumstances in order to prove it? And I think that's all we're missing. I mean, I think it's fairly easy to think that a fact of spirits are made of energy. Like, I think that is a fact that we can prove at some point in time, or that they leave some sort of EMF, you know, I don't want to say stain, but like a blip when they're around, a surge, I guess you could say. But Scott, what about you?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. There are very few facts and about the paranormal. And I would even say there aren't that many facts in science either. Science facts are changing all the time.
That is true.
We learn new things. So, in fact, I have a book called Physics as Metaphor that talks about, it's written by a physicist, says everything in physics is metaphors. There are no facts. You know, so there's no truth. What's that line from Indiana Jones in the Temple of that Indiana Jones line where he says, "This is where you learn facts. If you want truth, go to the philosophy class down the hall." You know. So, yeah, we're kind of making up the facts as we go along. You know, based on what we learn, and so there are no hard facts in the field, I think. So,
yeah, okay. Yeah. As always, Lauren, you have your fan.
Hi, Liv. I miss you.
No, nobody ever says hi to anybody else. Ever.
People say hi to the team, like as a group. Like if Pam or Kim are on, they say hi everybody, and they say hi to each other.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't count here. So,
well,
because they're always here. There are fans. There are supporters. There are
groupies.
There are friends.
See, Becky says hi to Scott.
Oh, Jesus.
I was just in class with Becky.
Hi, Becky.
Yeah. Whatever. You know, she did that shit on purpose. Rotten human being.
Hi, Sherry.
Anyways, all right. So I think we covered that. All right, number 2. And this is one that like I've talked about on both After Hours AM and the Odyssey Files. But myth number 2, ghosts only come out at night. that's been a big one. You seem confused by that one. So you've never heard that?
No, it's just it's so stereotypical.
Yes, it is.
Like
It
they
is.
only come out at night in the dark. That's not true.
No, it's not true at all.
No.
But that's why it's a myth. You
Yeah.
know? It's something that people believe that is untrue. And
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's what you see most of the time in movies. That's what they portray. It's always spooky at night, and that's when everything comes out is at night. But
well, not only at night, but
Yeah.
I mean, how many investigations on TV? You know, how many Ghost Nation episodes? How many Ghost Hunter episodes did they ever do an investigation during the day? Zero.
yeah,
You know, they do their tour and they set up their equipment, and then as soon as it's nighttime, let's turn off the lights. And that's only because obviously that is when they can make it the creepiest. You know, people are out. Nobody's scared of daylight. You know,
unless you're allergic to the sun or a vampire.
well, I mean, that is true, but in fact, that is another myth coming up here shortly.
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to burst the bubble.
No, no, it wasn't a complaint. I'm just saying, you know, thing about vampires, that is one a little later. But yeah, like you never see anybody scared of the daylight. And so doing an investigation during the day isn't going to creep anybody out. And so again, because of the way TV and Hollywood portray things, normal society who does not know anything about the paranormal believes that is the way it always is. That is the normal of the paranormal. That's going to be trademarked.
I see what you did there.
Yep, thank you. Glad somebody did. So,
Yep.
So yeah, do you guys have anything to add to that?
No.
No. All right.
Mhm.
Number 3, there is no physical evidence of Bigfoot. So
I would say there's some evidence, but not necessarily proof.
that could be fine. Yeah. In fact, this thing says, while there have not been any bodies found, Bigfoot researchers claim to have quite a bit of physical evidence to suggest the creature exists, including hair, blood, tissue, tracks, and yes, scat. I love the word scat. But yeah, there's a bunch of people who have that stuff, including Doug, you know, our good friend Doug Hychek. He's actually moved on now to a theory that Bigfoot can see in UV. And that's kind of how he's able to avoid everyone, because he can see beyond the spectrum that just normal humans can. And which I wouldn't put it past it at all. I mean, it's probably some sort of evolved animal that can think on its own and think for itself and adapt to its environment. I think I was on the show on Monday. We were talking about like sea life and how much we don't really know about animals and species from the sea, and of how like we constantly think that animals can't live in certain areas, and then they find a way to go down to those areas, and voila, there's animal life. And yeah, it's weird, it's crazy looking, they glow or whatever, but they've adapted to their environment. So I definitely think that Bigfoot can be one of those people. So, but I agree that there is no body, but there's definitely evidence. Number 4, only old buildings are haunted. This has actually come up multiple times. In that, you know, people are assuming that, you know, if their home is new, you know, if it was built in 2013 and there's been no death there or whatever, that there can't be a haunting. Absolutely, there can be. But yeah, you guys can take this one. I don't need to answer everyone.
There was one specific thing that came to mind when you said that, and because now I'm thinking like, okay, all of these myths are everything that you see in horror movies and like on TV and stuff like that. And isn't Poltergeist, the house, isn't it a new house? It's just on like ancient burial land, right?
I actually do not know the answer to that one.
Because I thought they were just like building the development so all of the houses were new.
That's probably it. I have not seen it in years and years and years.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking too. But if I'm understanding it correctly, I think that was what was happening. So, but that movie was made back in the 80s. So like, if people have been watching their stuff, they should know that's not true. But I mean, I get like there have been multiple movies where it's like it's a new house, but it's on like an ancient burial ground. So like stuff still happens, so yeah.
Well, that was the Black Hope Cemetery, the Black Hope Curse that I showed you with the Unsolved Mysteries, where they built that brand new development in Texas, I believe, Texas or California, on top of an old like pauper cemetery, and they were finding bodies in their backyards and marked trees were marked gravestones. I mean, everything. And when they disturbed it, they got hammered like big time. So that's definitely a myth that only old locations are haunted. Number 5, America's paranormal fascination is new.
I guess. Sorry. No, somebody else go.
Scott, you look like you want to say something.
No, I don't. There's nothing new about it. It's even before Europeans came here. It was around with the Native Americans believed in the spirit visitations and everything. So there's nothing new about it. It's been around as long as people have been around. Everywhere in the world.
I think that, I agree. And I think that the reason that people believe that is because we have the ability now to put that out there. I mean, if 7 million people or whatever, well, it's probably more than that, but let's just say out of the 330 million here in America, 100 million love the paranormal. They still love the paranormal. They just didn't have a way of getting that out there, over social media and over the internet now that they do. So I think these 100 million people are not new to their fascination of the paranormal. They're new to be able to talk about it with each other and to get that known that everybody else feels the same way as they do. So I agree on that one. Anybody else have anything to add?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I was just thinking about this the other day. I was talking to somebody about the Winchester Mystery House and like the whole history behind it. And Sarah Winchester, I think it was you, Mike, back in the early like 1900s, she was holding seances like every night. Like people were still interested in the paranormal, like well over 100 years ago. It's just like you said, Mike, now we can spread it and people can learn more. So people would have been interested 200, 300 years ago if we had the ability to spread that information as quickly as we do today. So it's more just gone viral rather than people are now newly interested in it, I would say.
I think that's a perfect way of phrasing it. Yeah. I think everybody's been fascinated by it, but as you said, now it has all gone viral. And now we measure that stuff, whereas before it didn't really matter. It technically still doesn't, but to some people apparently it does. Aliens are little green men in flying saucers, which I think is a really good myth. Because they're not. In fact, I don't hear anybody ever describe their alien as being green. It's the grays, it's the reptilians, it's the shadow people. It's the
all terrifying things.
It's the, what are they called? I don't want to say that the Guardians, but they're pretty much like the metaphorical version of an angel, like the blonde hair, the kind of the Norse, like the Norse type people. But yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember if that's what they're called or not. The Guardians. That sounds vaguely familiar, but I could just be meshing things together. But yeah, I don't think that there is any. Has there ever been any report of like little green men? I honestly
I'm sure
can't.
I'm sure somebody somewhere created some false story about little green men running around in the desert somewhere. But
More than likely, I mean, either that or it just became, a Hollywood myth. Somebody created little green men for their, 1960s horror movie. 'Cause maybe that was it. Maybe somebody did like the invasion from Mars or whatever, and it was like little green men.
Yeah.
So people just assumed that all aliens were then little green men. Is that right, Scott?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds, the Martians in there were green.
We're little green men. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
not so little, but they were green. Yeah.
I understand. All right. All right. Yeah, that sounds about right. I can get behind that. All right. So this was round number 7. No one still believes in vampires. I know for a fact that that's not true because, and this is the reason why I went after Rochelle so badly, she believes in vampires. So I was going to have her come on and share her research that she has done that she is definitely afraid that I'm going to make fun of her for. No idea where she gets that type of thought process, but to each their own. So yeah, I think that's why she won't come on the Odyssey Files, because she thinks I'm going to make fun of her.
you're just gonna like interrogate her for an hour and a half, maybe.
Sure, if that's where the conversation takes us. But do I? No, I don't believe in vampires. Now there are people out there who create who change themselves to mimic vampires. They have the fangs, the dental incisors put in, they have these huge vampire cultures in societies where they literally like drink blood and stuff like, or at least like red wine or something like that and pretend it's blood. But yeah, they have not covens, nests,
Like legions.
I don't know about legions, I should say.
I guess that's more like a hierarchical structure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you follow the traditional vampire thing, you have the head vampire that turned everybody, and then you have everybody else. So it's more of a cult than anything. But I don't think that, like, those societies, from what I understand, and I may be completely wrong, I would not classify them as cults. I don't think they try to really change anybody. I think they're just for the people who want to immerse themselves in that culture. I don't think they hurt anybody. They don't drink the Kool-Aid. So I guess I would not classify them as cults, but those typically have like the leader and then everybody else. So that's the only reason why I said that. I don't want anybody to think that I look down upon the vampire culture. I don't. They look dumb, but to each their own.
Yeah, I what did Becky say? I believe in energy vamp. Oh, I like that. Okay.
Well, yeah, there are there's definitely psychic vampires. And those actually get, I think, a bad rap because there's two different versions of it. There's the psychic vampire who, like Michelle Belanger, she considers herself a psychic vampire. But that's not a bad thing, the way she does things. But then there's obviously the psychic vampire who literally just sucks the living energy out of you. And those are the bad ones. Like, those are the people that you just need to get out of your lives. But Yes. So good call, Becky. And Becky, why are you not in here? I sent you the link like 20 minutes ago.
She was in class with me.
I know, but after she showed up here and said hi to Scott.
Oh, okay.
I sent her the link to come and join us. And she can give her own answers to these things. But yeah, so that's a really, really good point. The psychic vampires, because those can be both good and bad.
Also, can I shout out a TV show that is very related to all of this that I've been loving recently?
No.
So, okay, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, I do agree with you, Mike, that there are some people that try to live a vampiric lifestyle and imitate it as closely as they can. I don't know if I necessarily believe that vampires are real and that they're like immortal and everything like that. I know there's a lot of like cultural roots and like mythology that goes into it, especially in like Europe, like around like Vlad Dracula and all that stuff. There's a lot of old school thought and like stories that go along with that, which is really cool. I find it really interesting. Not totally convinced, but it's very interesting. If you are looking for a deep dive into something, I would recommend it. But anyway, there is a show on FX. Well, now it's on Hulu, which is streams FX. It's called What We Do in the Shadows. It is the funniest thing I've ever seen. And it has both like regular vampires and there's an energy vampire. So you can kind of see the difference. And I think it's really funny. It's very much for mature audiences. So don't watch it with your kids, but it's really funny. If you're looking for like a comedy vampire TV show, highly recommend.
I have seen the commercials for it. It looks good. I just have not gotten around to seeing it. Yeah. How about you, Scott? Have you seen the ads for it or whatever?
No.
Oh, gotcha.
It's really good because it's one of the few shows that I've seen that has both like different kinds of vampires explained in it, and it has them living together. So it's kind of funny to see like interactions and how they're different. But yeah. That was a good call, Becky. I like the energy vampires. It's cool.
You can tell it yourself because here's Becky.
Becky!
Hi!
Hello.
Sorry, I was making supper. I didn't know. Hi, Scott. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Becky. Nice of you to join us.
Sorry.
It's all right. All right. So did you have anything that you wanted to add about vampires that you haven't yet, Becky?
No, just they're definitely just like anything else. There is people that are respectful about their abilities, and there's people that are not when it comes to energy vampires, like Michelle Belanger. She is very respectful about it, and she's very open and honest about it. Unfortunately, there's some people that don't even understand that they have that ability, and they suck the life out of you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they do.
That's all I have.
Gotcha. All right. I did not get past this one, so these ones are new. Modern zombies are supernatural. I don't.
What is a modern zombie? Sorry.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, that was a question I was going to ask too.
I honestly don't know. So I think we're just going to skip that one.
Yeah. I mean, like anything that I've heard recently about zombies is usually somebody like high on some kind of drug, chasing people through the streets, acting crazy. Bath salts. Yeah. Yeah. Trying to eat people's faces. Yeah. No.
All right. So this is this was what was written. The term zombie has been used for well over a century, and before 1968 applied to seemingly soulless slaves created by Haitian voodoo magic. After 1968, when George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead was released, the term was forever changed. Modern zombies are the result of an unexplained contagion, but are not supernatural. According to Zombie Expert, who can be a zombie expert? They don't exist. Okay, whatever. Anyway, Matt Moog, nice, of the Zombie Research Society, something I didn't even know existed. The modern zombie is relentlessly aggressive, reanimated human driven by a biological infection. So supernatural vampires, mummies, Nordic draugrs, and all revenants need to not apply for brunch with this bunch. Okay.
Interesting.
I'm going to go. I'm just going to skip that one. I don't have anything to add. Anybody else? No? Okay.
Oh.
I like this one, though. Number 9. Skeptics and believers don't get along. And I know that that's false because I think believers and cynics don't get along.
Right.
But I love skeptics. I think they're amazing. They bring, because they're the people that you can, that you actually want to convince. Like anything, and you guys have heard me say this before when we do evidence. Like if we have a piece of footage that it could be something or whatever, my line is, if we show this to a skeptic, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. They're going to be able to toss that out. A cynic, you're not going to be able to convince of anything. You could sit him down and he could talk to the ghost of Abraham Lincoln, and he would probably say that was a projection. It was a complete hoax. But what do you guys think of that?
I mean, I do think that there's a place in the paranormal for skepticism. Every investigator should have a healthy skepticism of things. Otherwise, you're going to make everything and anything, like a piece of dust in a camera is going to be an orb, no matter what, if you don't have any kind of skepticism. So I think that's a really important trait to have for anybody that's investigating or doing any kind of research in this field. But like you said, Mike, if you're a cynic, you can try as best as you can. You can have the best piece of evidence, and it's not going to convince them. So that's when it kind of gets there. Nobody's going to win there. It's not even worth having the conversation then, in my mind, because you're not going to convince anybody of anything.
Very true. Becky, Scott, anything to add?
Well, there are a lot of us in the field, including me, who are both skeptics and believers. I want to see evidence before I'm going to believe something. So I think it's very important to have both qualities to when you're doing investigation.
What about you, Baxter?
I was going to say, one of my best friends, she likes to say she's like the biggest skeptic. She doesn't believe in any of this stuff. But yet when I tell her I'm going on an investigation, she can't sleep because she worries. And I was like, so really, you're just the largest denier in the world. So I love talking to skeptics because really, when you start talking to them, there is belief there.
Oh, yeah.
But like you said, they want to see it.
Right. I mean, the people that are skeptics are not even really skeptics. They're more, I don't want this confirmed, because then it changes. Yeah. It has to change their outlook on life, and they don't like that.
Yeah, there's a little fear in there. Yeah,
exactly. Like I had a coworker of mine when I still worked with Ruan, and they all knew that I was an investigator. And he would laugh at me and try to make fun of me and get me riled up by calling me the spook finder. And so his name's Tom. And so every once in a while, I'd be like, I'm going on an investigation this weekend. You want to go with? No. They don't want to go with. Absolutely not. When I first got into this 10 years ago, I told my grandmother that I was going to try this out. And she laughed at me. Like, she thought it was the funniest effing thing she'd ever heard. Like, why would I waste my time doing that? Then I did it and told her the stories of it. And all of a sudden it was, I don't know if you should be doing that anymore. That doesn't sound safe. You shouldn't be doing that anymore. What if this happens? What if that? Like, her entire demeanor of it changed when she got a confirmation that this stuff actually does happen and does occur. And so, yeah, I think that that's the difference between the believers and the skeptics. The skeptics do not want the confirmation. whereas we do. And I'm with you, Scott. I think a believer in general, but skeptic on a case-by-case basis. Like, I know the paranormal exists. I've got evidence of it. But does that mean that everything that we catch is evidence? Absolutely not. And that's where the skepticism needs to come in. Sorry, there was a bug in front of me. I was trying to kill it.
Well, and definitely when talking to clients and stuff, when you're taking on a new case, you have to have a layer of skepticism there just to make sure that you're not getting drug into something that's really something they thought up and crazy. That it's because there's crazy people out there that'll bring you in just because.
There's just crazy people out there. I can't tell you how many crazy people I've had to talk to.
Everything is sunshine and roses.
Well, get ready for the confirmation, because no, it's not. you can deny that all you want. Here's the confirmation. No, you were wrong. All right, number 10. Oh, I kind of like this one. The paranormal is bad for business. I kind of like that. Because it's true, I think. Obviously depending on the location and I guess probably the kind of activity. But I mean, there are a lot of places. I mean, I'm not talking about like Waverly or, any of these absolutely, gigantic haunted locations. But let's just take like here in the cities, like Four Paws Restaurant. That's been listed on like the top 5 haunted places in Minnesota for probably over a decade. But I think they had it where they would only let very select few people in. And it was one of those, what is this going to do for me kind of people? But I don't think they ever really shied away from it. And I think that a lot of people went in there wondering if maybe they were going to have an experience. I mean, let's look at the Palmer House. That's their entire gimmick. Like, nobody goes there to stay. I mean, nobody goes there and be like, I heard this was a wonderful hotel. I would like to spend a night. Nobody does that ever. It's give me the haunted rooms. Let me investigate the basement. That's all that they do. So I agree, because even though there are going to be some people who are going to be terrified of it and they're going to be like, I heard that's haunted. I don't want anything to do with it. You're then going to replace those people with I heard this place is haunted. Show me where, how can I be a part of that? So your thoughts on that one?
I would agree.
I think business.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead, Becky.
No, I was going to say, I think it depends on the type of business that you're running. If it's a nursing home, no, you don't want to advertise that. People aren't going to want to put their loved ones there. But like you said, like a hotel, depending on the location, they can run that as a draw. We had a bar in a couple towns over that we investigated multiple times, came out with tons of evidence, and their business went up because people just wanted to see when we were there, if we were going to have supper or whatever, will something happen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it definitely depends on what the location is, what kind of location it is, who is coming there, like what living people are coming there and why are they coming? Because if it's like a nursing home or like, for some reason, I want to say like a therapy center or something like that, where people have like some kind of weakness in their like spiritual shield, for lack of a better term, it's probably not the best place to be having activity going on, because it's really easy for things to target them. And that's not a good situation. But besides the point, I do think there are a lot of locations that we have seen that kind of make it an attraction and take it in a more exploitative way. Whereas like they're not being as respectful about it as they should. And I think we were talking about that with Susan, like paranormal attractions, like are they okay or not? Because at some point you shouldn't be bothering these people repeatedly and random stupid people coming in and doing Ouija board sessions and stuff like that. Like that's just not respectful. You have to go about it in a respectful way, in my opinion. So yeah, there are some places that if the spirits are okay with that, go for it, but don't be bothering spirits, because odds are if the roles were reversed, you wouldn't want people coming in, asking you the same questions, asking you all these emotionally charged questions, and you having to like relive all of that stuff. So there's a line in my mind, but we've talked about that before.
Yes.
Scott,
anything to add?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
I think they've said everything.
So here is my question to you guys. And this would probably be pretty hard to answer on the spot. So, don't worry if you don't. But do you have any myths that you know of that you would like to add to this list? I need like a cricket sound or something, like the Jeopardy.
I have some. I don't know if they're going to be very well formed sentences, but they're coming in my mind. I would say a lot of people, I guess specifically myths about paranormal investigators, I hear a lot of, and people think you use Ouija boards all the time, and you're communicating with the devil all the time, and you're running into demons all the time, and all these evil things. Whereas in reality, I feel like we do very light work most of the time. So I feel like that's probably a big myth in my mind, is that paranormal investigators deal with evil and spread evil and all of these dark things, when in reality, that's very not true.
Yeah, here's the way that I would phrase that myth. Everything is a demon.
Yeah.
That's the myth. And that's completely untrue.
Yeah, it's not. It's not a demon.
It's not a demon.
It's not a demon.
In fact, I don't have them yet, but probably on the next episode, because it'll be 2 weeks from now, I'm hoping to unveil our new team shirt. So that's going to be amazing, and it will make its debut at Vegas. And Becky, why aren't you going to Vegas?
Cost, time.
I'm still waiting for a good reason.
I have children.
I feel like cost is a good reason.
Whatever. No, there's discounts galore. We post that like all the time.
I just dropped $500 on a class ring today for my daughter.
She doesn't need that. You could have used that money for Vegas.
I love my kids.
That seems to be the theme tonight. I don't know why, but okay. Just kidding. All right. Well, fine. Whatever. Let me see here. I know that there's a lot of it. I think, Lauren, you probably hit a bunch of them just with investigators. Obviously the big one is it's not a demon. That's huge. No, we can't do our investigation in 42 minutes. That's another one. I don't know how widespread that is. I have never been asked that question. I have been asked, obviously, how long is this going to take? But I have a buddy of mine who was literally asked, are you going to be done in 40, 45 minutes? Because that's how long the show's lasted. And no, the answer was no.
I'd say one question I have been, our team, I don't know about your guys's, we do not like it when people leave animals in the home. Even if you leave it in a bedroom, they're going to be bumping around. They're going to be making noises. And they're like, really? Do we have to? Well, do you really want me to let you know if something's really happening or not?
These guys can confirm I will not do an investigation if there is an animal in the house. Cat, mouse, hamster. I'll take a goldfish as long as you turn off the bubbler. You know, they can survive for, a couple hours without the bubbler going. But yeah, I won't even do it. I did once. It wasn't my case. We were helping out Kim and Cat Paranormal. And it wasn't my case.
So it wasn't appropriate for a cat to be there.
It wasn't a cat. It was
Bad
two
joke.
dogs. Yeah, it was a bad joke, but I'm used to it from you. So I just ignored it. But they had 2 dogs. And I did not know that they had these dogs until we arrived. And they put them up in a bedroom. All they did, and Scott was there. Scott will know this case.
Yeah.
They barked the entire night.
Mhm.
And I was really hoping there was no EVP session or no EVP that was captured this time that would make me have to show anybody. But I literally leaned over to Josie and Scott and was like, this is a complete fucking waste of time. During the investigation, I was pissed because you can't get anything because all you hear is rah, 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 and then running around and scratching at the door. I'm like, what can you do? But no, I will not allow animals at a location that I'm investigating, period. So not even a cat, but that's just out of spite. All right. So who would like to ask a question? Lauren does.
I have a question, and it's because Halloween is coming up on Sunday, as many of you know. What is everybody's favorite Halloween movie? If you had to choose one, I know there are a lot of good ones. Okay, well, we know Mike's.
Hocus Pocus. I love Hocus Pocus.
All right.
Oh, he stole mine.
Ha! That can be yours as well.
Hocus Pocus. It's hands down the best Halloween movie there is.
Yeah. Scott, what about you?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it a little bit. But one that I watch almost every year is Sleepy Hollow with Johnny Depp.
The Johnny Depp version, yeah.
Yeah. I like that one.
I have actually never seen that one. I have to change that up, but I have not seen that Sleepy Hollow version. The other one that I would like to throw out there that I think was very, very well done, and I think it's very underrated, is the movie Trick or Treat. And that's the one that has the little kid, and he's got a pumpkin on his head. But basically, it has 3 different storylines throughout this entire movie. And it's very, very well done. But it is I would say it's more in the horror type movie genre than it is fun loving, Halloween trick-or-treating type movies. But it is a Halloween movie and it is a very good one. So I would actually put that as number 2. But yeah, nothing ever is going to beat Hocus Pocus. I'm sorry. That's the Halloween version of The Princess Bride. Just throwing that out there.
I actually have a shirt that says "I smell children," which I thought was appropriate since I work at a school.
And very appropriate for you.
I have 3 of them.
Yeah. Yes. Apparently, because you posted, and Lauren knows this because she was there when I first saw it. You posted a photo recently of your entire family, and I had never seen your entire family. And so when I looked at it, I'm like, "Who the fuck is that?" And it was your eldest daughter on your far left, and I was like, "Who is that?" I'm like, "I've never seen that person before in my entire life. I thought I met your family." But I was like,
that's
no.
my Stephanie. She's already moved out. She wasn't here when you were here.
Well, that's what I mean, and I must have spaced on that. I thought your oldest was Sasha.
Oh,
that's
no.
her name, right?
Yep,
that is
Sasha.
her name, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so worried that I had that wrong. I'm like, this is going to be crazy if I say Sasha, and that's not actually it. Okay. What about yours, Lauren?
I mean, I do love Hocus Pocus, but my all-time will always go to Nightmare Before Christmas because it is, in my opinion, both a Halloween and a Christmas movie. So I get to watch it for 3-4 months straight and nobody can say anything. And I have so many Nightmare Before Christmas themed things. Mike even got me a Nightmare Before Christmas blanket for my birthday and it fits perfectly in my room. So I'm a little obsessed, but I do like Hocus Pocus too. Hocus Pocus is a great Halloween movie.
I would like to correct one thing that you said, and that is we can say something every time, but that doesn't mean you're unjustified in watching it.
Correct. I just won't listen to you. I'm going to keep watching and enjoying for 4 months.
4 months?
Yeah.
October, November, December. It's only 3 months.
I start in September. I start early.
Well, then that's why people are going to say that you were incorrect.
It's my birthday month. You got to give it to me.
I don't have to give you shit, except
Yes,
apparently a Nightmare Before Christmas blanket.
Well, I greatly appreciate it. It's on my bed right now.
Scott, have you figured out yours yet?
Well, another movie that I love to watch at Halloween is Practical Magic with Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman.
Isn't that a rom-com?
What's that?
Romantic comedy.
Kind of, but they play witches.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But isn't it like the witchcraft version of like Sisters of the Traveling Pants? Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, whatever it is.
Maybe something like that. Yeah. But,
does anybody here like The Craft?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I actually saw. You do, Lauren? Do you even know what that is?
I was gonna say
no, I've never seen it.
Really? Interesting. Okay. But you do, Becky?
It was really popular when I was 12, 13, whatever it was.
I'm thinking
So
you're
we
going
used
to
to
have
watch
to add.
it.
I think you're going to have to add another decade to that.
Am I thinking of the wrong movie?
I think you're probably in your 20s, if not 30s.
Then I'm thinking of something else then.
No, you're probably right. I'm just making fun of your age. That's all. It's got Nev Campbell in it. And that's all I know.
Came out in 1996.
Okay, so there you go.
I was 13.
Wait, what? No. We'll have to have that discussion later.
Okay.
There's a grave injustice with ages right now that needs to be rectified. So anyway,
there's a new version of it out too.
Is there?
Yeah.
Wow, that's unfortunate. So I would just like to point out, since Lauren wants to do multi.
Sorry, I thought somebody was impersonating our Instagram account because I got a message on our Instagram account from our Instagram account, and
nice.
you and me are the only ones that have access to that. So I was very confused, but I think it's just my phone having a moment. So we're gonna let it sit. So I apologize. I was gravely concerned that we had a hacker or something like that, but I think we're okay.
Are you even allowed to message yourself? Like, there's a lot of things that
that's why I'm confused. Anyway, I'll figure it out later. It's fine.
It better be.
It'll be fine.
But yeah, because you know how much I worry about our Instagram.
I do so much.
I know you do.
It's my job to worry about it.
That is true. That is what I pay you to worry about.
Yes. Not among other things.
Yeah. We just added like number 16 today. She needs to be the buffer between me and stupidity.
Yep. Loving every second of it.
Yes. So anyway, I would like to throw out a shout out to a Thanksgiving movie, because there's never ever been a Thanksgiving movie because nobody cares about giving thanks, I suppose. And and point out that everybody needs to see Thanksgiving. A homicidal talking turkey goes after 4 stereotypical college students.
Hard pass.
No, it's not a hard pass. It's amazing.
I
It's
feel like I have
amazing.
to like prepare myself and be in the right mindset to watch that movie.
That's okay, because I'll bring it into the office tomorrow.
Oh. It's fine. Connor, I love that. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That is a great Thanksgiving movie.
That is a great Thanksgiving movie.
Yes.
But not as good as Thanksgiving. Just want to throw that out there as well.
You can't get much better than John Candy and Steve Martin, right?
I agree. Except John Candy, Steve Martin, homicidal talking turkey.
I don't see much of a comparison there.
Exactly. The turkey's so much better.
No.
Anyways, all right. Becky, do you have a question? I know you weren't even prepared to do this.
I was not prepared for this.
No, you weren't. You should always be prepared for this. Like every week, you should just prepare.
I should just like create a list of questions hanging on my wall. Be ready to go
Yes, you should.
when I get
Scott,
my 2-minute warning.
Yeah. Less than that, we were already on the air. I sent you. Scott, you were looking at videos to come up with something for tonight. What'd you come up with? Or is he frozen?
I think he's frozen.
He's frozen.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Well, that's not good.
Oh, well.
And he's very
Not frozen anymore.
Nope. And he's no longer here. All right. I had a couple things that I had found that Dave and I never got to. So this one actually comes up a lot, but Becky, I don't think you have been here when we answered something like this.
Okay.
So here's the question. I've wanted to believe in the supernatural my whole life. I've had an experience I considered paranormal when I was 12, but only a few years later began to question whether I just had a panic attack or was imagining things. Since then, I've explored a few supposedly haunted places and only seen critters and some anxiety about finding malicious people in an inebriated state. I've asked for the ghosts to show themselves, but nothing does. Nothing on the internet can give me any hope because so much of it is definitely fake, and it could all be fake. I still want it to be true, but how do I find the evidence?
I would say for this person, one of the biggest things is stop questioning yourself, because you will talk yourself out of anything. You have to be open and just accept. I mean, as somebody who occasionally has had, like growing up, I had a man that stood at the end of my bed. I have had somebody walk across my living room in front of me that I swore to God was my husband, but he wasn't. He was upstairs, but I can't explain it. Little kids peeking around the corner at me. I've had that happen in my house when I was the only one home. These things don't happen when you call upon them always. It's not always like flipping a switch and just they're not on an Uber. You can't just call them. You just have to relax and accept what is going on when it is happening and stop trying to talk yourself out of it, because we can justify anything. That's all I have.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. I think I wish there was a little more detail about how like these people actually went and investigated. Because like if they're only going in for a half hour and calling it quits, probably not going to see a whole lot. Or if you're going and screaming and demanding the world, things might just stay away from you until you decide to leave because you're invading their space. So I think there would be a great benefit to this person to go with an experienced team and investigate with them rather than them just going out thinking they know how to investigate when in reality it's probably not going to yield the best results. So I would recommend they contact a local team, see if they can tag along on some investigations and kind of wait and see if that works. And maybe they can pick up some useful techniques that way. Because they might think they're doing it correctly, but then again, if they're just watching what they see on TV, that usually doesn't tend to give the best tips and habits to new investigators. So yeah, that would be my advice. But keep looking, don't get discouraged, because this, like we said, it isn't like Ghost on Demand. You can't just expect one to appear and then call it good and leave. It doesn't work like that. You got to be patient.
That's now going to be an app, right? There's going to be an app called Ghost on Demand.
I know. I hope there isn't already, but
there's going to be
probably not very good anyway.
Oh no, it's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
But as long as they put for entertainment purposes only, they're free and clear. That's what Ghost Radar does. Everybody's got it. Well, not everybody. Everybody who doesn't know what they're doing has it, but they don't see the fact of the for entertainment purposes only.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, the question on the table is somebody is looking for evidence of the paranormal. They have been to a few locations. Nothing has really happened. They're starting to get, I guess, discouraged. They want the evidence. How do they find it?
Yeah, I guess what Lauren said, just go out and join an investigation team or something. Go out to some events and that
like Ashmore.
Yeah. And start experiencing it for yourself.
Right. Yeah. That's your answer. Okay. That is Scott, Lauren, and Becky have given the professional, respectful answers. Now it's my turn. So just throwing that out there to begin with.
Buckle up.
Yeah. Strap in, everybody. Shit's about to get real. Don't go looking for evidence. It's not by yourself anyway. My advice to everybody who is looking for proof, is looking for experiences, is looking for all of this shit that you shouldn't be when it comes to the paranormal, is always seek out a reputable team, have them take you out, have them show you the ropes. The people who don't know what they're doing are only going to end up screwing themselves up. Whether it's by provoking and they're attacked, whether it's by doing in incidental invitation and you get followed home, sooner or later it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. And that's why I was very thrilled that pretty much this entire team came out right away without any of the I've gone to locations for the last 5 years and nothing's ever happened. All of you guys, Sam, Haley, Scott, and Lauren, all were like, we want to do this correctly. We want, a team to take us out, to show us the ropes. Even if it's just to see what it's like. When I went out, it wasn't to join a team. It was just to see what it was like. I ended up joining the team because it was amazing, but I never had a paranormal encounter before. I'd never gone to a haunted location. I just wanted to see what it was like with a reputable team. And so it's the people who, like this person, who says, I've gone to a few supposedly haunted places and only seen critters and thinking that I'm going to run into drunk people. Who knows, as you said, Lauren, how he's investigated, what they have done. And
Well, and the fact that he sat in there afraid of running into drunk people, were they trespassing?
Probably. Oh, absolutely. I mean, these these people are like, I went to a few supposedly haunted places, aren't going to call and get permission. Like it's jumping the fence, it's going in after hours. They're trespassing.
Don't do that.
Yeah, absolutely don't do that.
Please don't. Just no.
Not
Don't
only because it's wrong to investigate somebody else's property without their permission, there is a good chance there's a hole in the floor somewhere that you don't know about, and you're going to end up in the basement.
And then nobody's going to know you're there, and you're just going to be sitting there, and who knows what's going to happen. So for your own safety, physical and spiritually, please do not do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he didn't even say that he went with his friends. He says, I've gone. So if he's investigating by himself, he's breaking like 17 of my rules. Prick. But yeah. So I just wanted to throw that one out there. But yeah, so that does it for us here this week. Like I said, we will be off next week because we will be headed to Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. And there's no way that I am going to miss a night in Nashville to be on a computer. Because that's where we're stopping that night. And then we're moving on to Old South Pittsburgh for Thursday night. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. And like I said, we're going to be, hopefully we'll unveil our new team shirt, which should be done by then. And then in 3 weeks for episode 50, we'll come up with something amazing for that. We'll get like 3 different guests on just for the hell of it. Sorry, Beck, you're not invited to that one.
I'm busy anyway.
I don't doubt it, but I do appreciate you coming on here tonight and filling the gap for us, especially on less than zero notice. So
you're welcome.
I do appreciate that. Thank you. All right, well, that does it for us. We'll be back here in 2 weeks. So everybody stay safe, stay healthy. We want to see you back here then. Everybody have a great night and a great